Hey everyone, welcome to Shambhala Gardens. My name is Steve Curtin, and I just want to give you a little quick video tour of my market garden micro farm operation here. A few reasons. First, I just want to kind of show off what I'm doing here to my friends and family. Most of you don't get a chance to visit me out here and see what I'm doing. Also, to advertise to potential buyers of my products, farmers markets, farm-to-table restaurants locally. I also want to bookmark my progress up to this point. This has been most of this work back here is the last year and a half. It represents the end of phase 1 of my development plan. This entire area has been cultivated to the limit. I have some perimeters and odds and ends that need to be cleaned up and weeded, but I'm basically finished. And now we're going to see if it's profitable. And hopefully it will be, and I'll dive into phase 2, which will be on the other side of my house. But that's a lot of work and a lot of time, and I want to make sure it's going to be worth my while before I start. And finally, I gain a lot of motivation and inspiration from watching other people make videos like this of their gardens and their operations. So hopefully you like what you see, and it motivates you to get out there, and you can gain some ideas and some inspiration for your own operation, even if it's just for your own personal use. So let's take a little walk, and I'll take you on a little chronological journey from when I started here. We bought the house in 2012, and it came with a couple of established raised beds already, just a few hundred square feet. I had this cinder block bed here and a handful of lumber beds here. Just enough to grow a little bit of food, nothing big. You can see that these lumber beds don't do too well. They're already, this one's pretty much gone. So when I got the zap in me to develop the rest of this area, using lumber wasn't a good idea for me because these cost about $40 in materials each, and I wanted to build many of them. So I grabbed a chainsaw and started cutting down trees and building beds out of their trunks. And it seemed like a good idea at the time, but it was more like a labor of insanity. Some of these lengths, these 10-foot lengths, weigh over 1,000 pounds. Trees are very heavy, so I'm lucky I didn't injure myself worse than I did several times. If you want to do this, it's really beautiful and it'll last a long time. Just make sure you have at least one other pair of strong hands, and preferably some machinery to help you lug these logs around. So about a year and a half ago, I started learning about permaculture. And permaculture is permanent agriculture, as opposed to what I'm doing here, which is annual agriculture. You plant, you harvest, you dig up, and you replant. Permanent agriculture is a self-sustaining, permanent food system where you basically get it established and it takes care of itself. So I started watching videos and listening to podcasts, and one of the podcasts I listened to was Permaculture Voices with Diego Footer, and he had a segment called The Urban Farmer with Curtis Stone. And Curtis was at the time growing on 1/3 of an acre in Canada, and he was making $75,000 to $100,000 a year. So that really got the zap in me to evolve my operation to a commercial operation, which I shifted into from these double reach beds. These double reach beds are great if you're a hobby gardener, but if you're a commercial gardener, they're really murder on your joints and your back. Between all the planting and the harvesting and weeding and pruning, you won't last very long. So in a commercial garden, and I actually recommend these no matter what, but you definitely need these in a commercial garden, these 30-inch row beds. You can reach the entire bed from either side, and if you need to, you can also straddle the beds and work from overhead. So using just my broad fork here, my bed preparation rake, a stirrup hoe, and a shovel, I dug about 20 of these beds. These beds back here are left over from winter. I have some carrots coming in still, but they need to be cleaned up. You see my squash and my zucchini plants here. These small repurposed cedar paneling beds are for perennials like asparagus and strawberries. I can't harvest the asparagus yet because they're too young. You saw plenty of Cherokee purple tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, bell peppers, jalapeno peppers. You saw some potatoes back there. I also have lots of trees and bushes: blueberries, cherries, pomegranates, elderberries, pecans, peach. I have a avocado tree in the greenhouse. I have one out in the yard. I have a fig tree, a satsuma tree, some blackberries. There's plenty of wild dewberry and grape growing out here. It's a really great place. It's secluded. It's almost cloistered. Shambhala is a mythical paradise hidden somewhere in the Himalayan mountains. It's kind of like the Buddhist version of Garden of Eden, and that's what I tried to create here, kind of a temple of solitude and peace and hopefully abundance. So I hope you enjoyed my little tour, and I will talk to you soon.